The real surprise was standing behind them, our parents, back from their permanent move to Florida, holding a sold sign from their house and wearing matching t-shirts that said, "Surprise, we're your new neighbors." I watched as my brother Kevin's smug certainty crumbled like a stale Christmas cookie, his wife Melissa clutching their luggage while their 3 kids ran wild on my porch. But what made my hands shake wasn't the revelation that our parents had secretly moved back to town. It was realizing they'd been planning this ambush with Kevin for months, and the cruise story was just bait to get me to expose what they called my selfishness problem, once and for all. Kevin stood there in his designer travel clothes, mouth opening and closing like a fish, while behind him our parents beamed with the satisfaction of people who'd just won a game no one else knew they were playing. "Surprise, Emma?" Mom chirped, spreading her arms wide. "We're home for good. Closed on the house 3 blocks over last week. Isn't it wonderful? Now we can all be together again. And help with the grandkids," Dad added, his eyes twinkling with what I now recognized as malice disguised as grandfather charm. The note on my door, the one that had made Kevin and Melissa freeze, fluttered in the morning breeze. In large, clear letters it read, "Gone for the holidays. Will return January 3rd. Do not leave children or luggage. Premises under video surveillance." "Emma," Kevin finally managed, "you can't be serious. You knew we were coming." "Actually," I said no. Repeatedly. Last night, this morning when you called, and in the text message I sent with a screenshot of local babysitting services. I kept my voice steady, though inside I was vibrating with 28 years of suppressed rage. "But here you are anyway, with Mom and Dad as backup. How long have you all been planning this?" Melissa shifted uncomfortably, designer heels clicking on my porch. "The cruise leaves in 3 hours. We can't miss it. It's non-refundable." "That sounds like a you problem." "Emma," Mom's voice sharpened, dropping its sugary coating. "This is what family does. We help each other. When have any of you helped me?" The words came out before I could stop them. "When I needed a place to stay during my divorce. Kevin, you had a no space despite your 5-bedroom house. When I was in the hospital with pneumonia. Melissa was too busy to even visit. When I lost my job last year. Dad told me it was a learning opportunity and offered no support." "That's different," Kevin started. "How? How is it different?" "Because I don't have kids to guilt you with." My nephew Tyler, 7 and already a master manipulator like his father, piped up. "Aunt Emma's being mean. She promised to watch us." "I never promised anything, Tyler. Your dad lied to you." "Emma," Mom gasped. "How dare you call your brother a liar in front of his children? How dare he lie to his children and use them as weapons?" I shot back. The neighbors were starting to notice. Mrs. Chin across the street had come out to check her mail for the 3rd time. Mr. Rodriguez was very obviously pretending to water his already drowning petunias. "Can we discuss this inside?" Dad said, moving toward my door. "No, I'm about to leave. Hence the note." "Leave?" Kevin's voice pitched higher. "Where could you possibly need to go on December 26th? I smiled then, the first genuine smile of the morning. "Bali. My flight leaves in 2 hours." The silence was beautiful. Even the kids stopped whining for a moment. "Bali," Melissa squeaked. "You can't afford Bali. You're still recovering from the divorce. Actually, I've been saving all the money I would have spent on your kids' birthday parties, Christmas gifts, and babysitting emergencies. Turns out when you stop being everyone's free childcare, you can afford nice things." "But it's Christmas," Mom wailed. "Family time. Was it family time when you all went to Disney last year without inviting me? Was it family time when you had Thanksgiving at Kevin's and told me after the fact? Or is it only family time when you need something?" Kevin's face had gone red. "This is ridiculous. You're being selfish and vindictive. I'm being honest. For the first time in my life, I'm putting myself first, and you can't stand it." "What about the kids?" Melissa tried, pushing Tyler forward slightly. "You're going to disappoint them on Christmas? You disappointed them when you lied about confirmed plans. You disappointed them when you booked a cruise without arranging childcare. You disappointed them by showing up here expecting me to fix your poor planning." Dad stepped forward, his voice taking on the authoritative tone that used to make me crumble. "Emma Jean Robertson, you will open this door right now and stop this nonsense." No. It was such a simple word, but I'd never said it to him before. Not like this. Not without apology or explanation or justification. "I've already called an Uber to the airport. You're wasting time you could be using to find actual childcare. We can't find anyone on December 26th. Kevin exploded. Do you know how hard it was to get this cruise? Melissa's parents gave it to us for Christmas. Then maybe Melissa's parents can watch your kids. They're in Europe. Sounds like you should have thought of that before assuming I'd drop everything for you. Again, Mom started crying. Of course she did. It was her signature move when logic failed. I don't understand what happened to you. You used to be such a sweet girl. Always helpful. Always there for family. I grew up. I realized helpful was code for doormat. I realized family only applied when you needed something from me. That's not true. But even as she said it, I could see her calculating, trying to remember the last time they'd invited me to something that didn't involve free labor. My Uber notification popped up. 5 minutes away. Look, I said, pulling my suitcase to the door. I'm done explaining myself. I'm done justifying my boundaries. And I'm done being your emergency backup plan. But the cruise. Melissa was near tears now. We've been planning this for months. And yet you never once asked if I was available. You just assumed. Like always. Kevin tried one more time. What if we paid you? I laughed. Actually laughed. Now you offer money? After years of family doesn't charge family? After all the times you made me feel guilty for even hinting at compensation? Name your price, he said desperately. There isn't one. My time isn't for sale anymore. Not to you. The Uber pulled up. As I walked past them with my suitcase, Tyler grabbed my leg. Aunt Emma, please. We'll be good. I gently detached him. Tyler, this isn't about you being good or bad. This is about your parents learning to respect other people's time and boundaries. We respect you, Kevin protested. Really? Then why are you here after I said no? Why did you bring our parents as backup? Why are you trying to manipulate me through your children? Silence. I loaded my suitcase into the Uber. As I was about to get in, Dad played his last card. If you get in that car, don't bother coming to family events anymore. I paused, one foot in the car. Promise. His face went purple. Mom gasped. Kevin looked like I'd slapped him. I mean it, I continued. If the price of my freedom is losing access to events where I'm either ignored or put to work, where my accomplishments are minimized and my struggles dismissed, where I'm only valued for what I can do for you. That's not a threat, Dad. That's a gift. You'll regret this, Mom said quietly. When you're old and alone, you'll regret pushing away your family. I'd rather be alone by choice than surrounded by people who only see my value in what I can do for them. I got in the car. As we pulled away, I saw Kevin on his phone, frantically calling babysitters. The cruise line? I didn't care. My phone started exploding with texts. I turned it off. The airport was blissfully quiet. As I sat at my gate, waiting to board my flight to Bali, a trip I'd booked months ago when I realized this Christmas would be like all the others, I felt something I hadn't experienced in years. Peace. No guilt. No second-guessing. No overwhelming urge to fix everyone else's problems at my own expense. Just peace. The flight attendant called for boarding. As I stood, my phone buzzed with a voicemail notification. Against my better judgment, I listened. It was Kevin. We missed the cruise. Thanks a lot. The kids are devastated. Mom and Dad are so upset they're talking about changing their wills. I hope you're happy. Your selfishness just cost you everything. I deleted it and boarded the plane. 14 hours later, I landed in paradise. Real paradise, not the fake one my family had constructed where everyone was happy as long as I was serving. I spent 2 weeks doing exactly what I wanted. Sleeping late. Reading books. Taking surf lessons. Eating meals while they were still hot instead of after feeding 3 kids. Not once did I regret my decision. When I finally turned my phone back on, I had 247 missed calls and countless texts. I deleted them all without reading. There was one voicemail from an unknown number. Curious, I listened. Hi Emma, this is Mrs. Chun, your neighbor. I just wanted to say I saw what happened on your porch. Good for you, dear. It's about time someone in that family stood up for themselves. If you need anything when you get back, let me know. And don't worry, I told several other neighbors what really happened. So whatever story your family is spreading isn't getting much traction. Enjoy your vacation. I smiled. Maybe I wasn't as alone as my mother predicted. When I returned home in January, there was a pile of mail at my door. Most of it was junk, but there was one official-looking envelope from a lawyer. My parents had indeed changed their wills. I was completely cut out. I laughed and tossed it in the recycling. They'd already given me the only inheritance I needed, the knowledge that I could survive without them. Over the next few months, The family made various attempts at contact. Kevin left voicemails about how the kids missed me. Melissa sent texts about upcoming birthdays. Mom wrote a letter about forgiveness and family bonds. I responded to none of it. Instead, I joined a book club. I took a pottery class. I volunteered at the animal shelter, on my own schedule, not anyone else's. I made friends who invited me places because they wanted my company, not my babysitting services. 6 months later, I ran into Kevin at the grocery store. He looked exhausted. The kids were with him, all three melting down simultaneously. "Emma," he said, juggling a screaming toddler while trying to stop Tyler from opening cereal boxes. "Can we talk?" "We're talking now. I mean, really talk. Maybe you could come over for dinner? The kids have been asking about you." "No, thank you. Look, I'm sorry about Christmas. We shouldn't have ambushed you like that." I noticed he didn't apologize for the years of taking me for granted. Just for the one time it backfired spectacularly. "Apology noted," I said, moving past him. "That's it? That's all you have to say?" I paused, considering. "Actually, no. I have one more thing to say. Thank you. Thank you for pushing me too far. For bringing Mom and Dad as backup. For making it so abundantly clear that I was nothing but a convenience to you all. Without that moment, I might have spent another 28 years being your unpaid nanny. So thank you for showing me exactly where I stood in this family." His face crumpled. "Emma, please. We're family." "No, Kevin. We're related. There's a difference. Family shows up for each other. Family respects boundaries. Family doesn't ambush you with luggage and backup manipulators. How can we fix this? You can't. And that's okay. You have the family you want, Mom and Dad 3 blocks away, available for all your childcare needs. And I have the life I want, one where my time is my own and my worth isn't measured in favors." I left him there with his screaming children and his full cart and his shocked expression. That was a year ago. I heard through the grapevine that Mom and Dad lasted exactly 3 months living near Kevin before moving back to Florida. Apparently, being on-call grandparents wasn't as fun as they'd imagined. Kevin and Melissa hired a nanny. It cost them a fortune, but their kids are finally learning that not everyone exists to serve their needs. And me? I'm planning my next solo Christmas trip. Maybe Japan this time. Or New Zealand. Somewhere beautiful and peaceful and completely free of family obligations. The note is still on my door, updated for this year. Gone for the holidays. Will return January 3rd. Do not leave children, luggage, or guilt trips. Premises under video surveillance. Merry Christmas to me. Because it turns out the best gift I ever gave myself was the word no. And it keeps on giving.